here we go. More wiring. Oh, I left off, I think, where I showed you where that was getting mounted. So we're running the wires for that. Wires to the back. Josh ran the wire for the fuel pump back to there. This is coming. This will all get tidied up once we get it running. Once we get it situated. So these are the two wires that come from the coil. We lengthen those so that all that's going to go like that and come around. And then we'll put new ends on everything. That's going to go like that. These are the two. We got two new, same thing. Made these longer and heavier gauge from the ignition box, because they only give you enough, like if you're going to mount the thing right next to the battery, basically up front or something. But I don't know, not too many race cars mount the batteries up front anymore, so they're either in the car. So if you're mounting it in the car, you probably got enough room for sure, and most of them are in the back. So this one's going to go here, same thing. That's going to get run along there and go to the main studs on the positive and negative. And then underneath, we got this kind of situated here. So you really can't see it, but I like making all the wires nice and neat so you don't see nothing. So you got the starter wire under there. The other wire comes around same way, comes up through to the back of the alternator. There's a ground wire. I gotta make sure I got the right end for that. That's going to come around from the back, come up and get grounded right here. And then this wire gets grounded here also. For the water pump, this wire will run down and around and back around here. And that's the one I'm getting ready to do next. That's going to come around here. All that comes up in here and goes up through the firewall. Same thing with the fan for the transmission cooler and the fan for the radiator, same thing. All that's going to come around. So the fan for the radiator and the water pump, the radiator, and the cooling fan are going to be on relays. And I'm going to mount the relays probably right inside the firewall, right in here on the inside, on the inside, so they're easy to get to. And then run the wires to that. All right, so getting there. Shrink tube going. These are the relays that we're using. So this one is the one for the, this is going to be the one for the fan. And then we have one for the water pump, one for the tranny cooler. Then you got another relay for the trans brake and the relay for the fuel pump. Obviously, we already did all that in the back. We showed you that. So we're getting there. Got to do some more lengthening of some wires, shortening of other wires, and then I'll run the wire front to back. I'll split it here. Same thing, put a relay in for the headlights, and that's about it for that. He's gonna have to get all his gauges, whatever gauges we're using. I don't have any of those yet. Only thing I think there's only a tack, but we'll figure all that out after, because what we're going to do is we're going to mount the dash, figure out where all the gauges are going to go, and make all the holes in the dash, so mount them flush. I think that's what they were talking about doing. All right, so we're going to mount a dome light, or a light, so interior light, one underneath the dash and one in the car, so that if you ever have to get down inside there and work on those wires or anything, or you're going to change your, this box has all the chips to change different settings, launch RPM and all that kind of, retard RPM, all that kind of stuff. So all the chips go on that side of the box. So I'm going to mount a little light in there so it's easy and nice and clean, that you could see like a little LED light or something. All right. So let's see, I need to go get one terminal for that ground in the front. Those I already did. And I gotta terminate the terminal, the ends of the coil wire now. And just keep moving along. All right. Takes a little time, not difficult, just you gotta take your time and figure out where you're putting everything. Try to think ahead. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this right now, and then later on you're gonna be thinking other stuff. Oh yeah, I bought the bump button for the, I'm gonna put a bump button here, starter bump. So, all right, let me keep moving. I'll show you as we're going along what we're doing. All right, we can catch you up a little bit. So, put the ends on it. Make sure everything's got heat shrink on it all. You get this stuff pretty much anywhere. You could buy them like that. Harbor Freight. There's a couple of different ones. So if you go there and you see they have ones that are real skinny, all different color ones. Those are for like smaller wire. This stuff's a lot better. It's marine. This stuff actually melts down good, sticks. So I would definitely recommend using that. Here's the bump button that we're going to use. All right, picked up some more of these. The little tiny ends that are going to go on that. So I'm going to put a hole right there. We're going to run the wire down, purple wire for starter. And then we'll run it down into here. Make a tiny little hole for the wires to go through, and that'll go over to the inside. All right. Alternator wire is on there. You can't see it. But that's the whole idea. You don't want to see a bunch of wires. Okay, so I'm going to put an end on this one. That'll be the ground for the water pump. I'm going to put a connector on that side. And then you can always take it off with that. Okay, put a plug over here where the old oil dipstick was. Still waiting for sensors. Water temperature sensor, oil temp, oil pressure, all that stuff. All right, so let me get a couple more connectors on there and we'll show you that. All right, so on this thing, well, that'll sit like that. Obviously, you won't see anything from here. So we're gonna mount, the box will go there. I'm gonna take this back off. I just wanna see, make sure everything cleared. We can run the wires that come from up top, right? We can run them along the bar and down, and then I'm gonna put all the relays up in that platform right there, so they're out of the way. They'll stay dry, nothing will hit them, and it won't be in your way or your feet or nothing. And like I said, I'm going to put a light up in there, and there's not going to be a passenger seat. Well, you could put a passenger seat if you want, but there ain't going to be one probably. And even if there is, you can basically crawl in there, and there's really nothing to fix except change settings on that box, which it's literally right there. So, and you could read them, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to take the dash back out real quick. I'm going to finish wiring those relays, and then I'm going to get a light and go get a LED style light to put one there and one in the back. I'm going to mount one up here facing the cockpit this way so you could see, and another one underneath the dash so you could see all your wiring. All right, those are all the circuit breakers. There's two more missing or whatever. There's going to be 5 all together up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got trans brake, water pump, fan, transmission fan, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a trans brake. So 4 altogether are going to be up there. And same thing with the relay and the wiring, and then we'll sort it all out. So I picked up some lights, picked up these. They look like that. Nice, slim, they work nice. I'm going to mount one up there. One's going to go up there facing down under all that, and the other one I'll put up here facing the dash. All right, so let me get that. I'm going to button all them in, put them all in place where they're going to go, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll wire them all up and run all the wires to everything.
Got wires going everywhere. All our relays.
All the relays are in there. I got a couple more coming. I gotta put one more in it. Alright, so those are all 30 amp relays. 30 amp circuit breakers, 30 amp relays. So now all the wires are run like that and over. And then
We got all our.
it's like a spaghetti mess over here right now, but
Don't worry, it'll be clean.
yeah, I gotta wait for the other one to come there. And then I need those little,
Yeah, I got those, the little
I need
wire, the clamps.
the little clamps. Get me like, 1, 2, 3, give me like 4 of those things. And I'll start snaking the wires over that way. And I can mount, this can go back up here now. I'll just grab the yellow wires are all the trip wires. So all the trip wires can go together. And I gotta mark them and so I know which one's which. And then these are all ground. So those will all go. These are probably all gonna go together.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright. That goes like that. And this is gonna go like this is gonna go back over here. Like that. And that's it. All the wires get snaked around. Be nice and clean. I gotta get in here. Let's see. This I gotta clean all this metal. I gotta lay down in here. Can you get the vacuum cleaner, vacuum all these metal shavings up for me?
Hang on.
And then get me them clamps. I'm gonna get under there. I gotta mount that light under there. Alright, so next thing we're doing here real quick is, so this brake light switch, you push it in and twist it like that, I guess. I tried putting a connector in there, so we don't have the original harness. If you have the original harness, I guess you could just use the pigtail off it, but there's no plug, no harness. So picked up this one at advanced part number, okay, and that basically looks like this. It's got a second nut on it. All right, so you can adjust it. So I need to open up that hole, just one little size up, and then we'll put this on here, put 2 nuts on it, adjust it so that works with that. You see, it's got the little plate in there. Okay, it also had another one up here, I guess, for one might have been the brake light, one might have been the what you call it for, what the heck they call it, the speedo, the speed control, or cruise control. So that might have been for that. All right, so I'm just gonna drill that real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's put in there, and then we'll just wire it. Run one wire to positive, put a fuse in it, and run the other wire all the way back to the brake lights. And then we'll be wiring the brake lights and the tail lights. All right, that's it. I'll run the wires, make sure it works. All right, so got it wired, got the plug in there, wires going all the way down. There's an inline fuse for it, and then, all right, that's that. So that we know that works. Now I can run the rest of the wire all the way to the back, and then I'll show you what I'm doing back there. All right, so got the wire hooked in the front. We're gonna run the wire all the way around. These are the two plugs for the tail lights, which again, we don't have the harness for this, so we only need a brake light and a tail light. So I'm gonna figure out which one's a brake light, which one's a tail light. Snip this end off, put one of these connectors on, put a three-way connector on it. So it's got a ground, brake, tail, and they'll be able to unhook them in case you gotta take the tail lights out for whatever reason. All right, so same thing with this side. We're gonna cut this off. So I just gotta figure out which one's which. Once I figure that out, then we can put the connector on it. All right. All right, so I actually figured out we got parking lights. All right, these around here are parking lights. It actually sequentials brake light, which is pretty cool. Not gonna have blinkers, but it'll be sequential brake light, and the reverse lights. So that's all them. Got two plugs on each one, so I can plug both of them in. This will be able to come out with the tail light. Got two on this side. Same thing. So now I got to make the other connections that come from the front, and then put opposite plugs on that, opposite plugs on this, so they all plug together and nothing gets confused. All right. So that's next, and then we'll check them out and show you how it works. All right. Oh, the relay finally showed up 3 days late. Got the rest of the wires here. This is all for the tail lights, brake lights, reverse lights. So if you've never seen how this works, you need to make a crimp like that. So you can buy them in a kit, you can buy them individually. It's cheaper to buy them as a whole big kit. And you need a special pair of pliers because they need to make a crimp that looks like that. Okay? So the pliers have the different sizes for the different crimps, but you need that style crimp. It comes with these pins. So you got a male and female pin, a little rubber seal, and all the different types of, whether it's a 2-prong, 3-prong, 4-prong, 5-prong, whatever. Okay? So that's how that's going to go. I'm going to wire all these together. I'll run 2 to this side, 2 to that side. So we're running a tail light to both sides, brake lights to both sides, reverse light to both sides, ground to both sides, and then we'll run the harness all the way to the front and plug everything in the front. So that'll be all laid out. I can button this back up back here. The back will be done. Run the wires out that way. I'm going to put that other relay in there. That'll be all done. We're going to mount the shifter. We're going to make a little platform for the shifter. I'm going to make the platform a little bit longer. I'll be able to mount a couple of switches on it. One's going to be for the window switches. One's going to be for the dome light. And one's going to be for a reverse light. So it'll have three toggle switches or whatever we're going to put there. I'll figure that out next. All right. And all the harness run all the way to here. And everything in the back works nice. Let's see if I could test it. All right, so you obviously turn all that on. Stay there. Let me see if I got a wire to probe that with real quick. Let me get a hot lead. 1 second. Let me get a hot lead and then I'll show you how it works. So, this is parking lights.
Yeah.
That's reverse.
Yep.
Parking lights, reverse. And then the brake lights. Brake lights I already got wired.
Yep.
And they blink, right? They sequential deal looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Alright, that's it. Everything works up to that spot. Now we can wire the rest of it. Alright, so got all those to work. Got the rest of the relays in place. So the last relay is going to go over that side for the trans brake activation up to the steering wheel, whatever. All the main wires, all the main grounds, they're all going to get connected to the 2 studs back there. Okay. And then we'll start tidying up everything as we go along. I still need to wire that one light down. This one's up here is done like before. Let's see. I gotta get the steering wheel for the bump box, and we need a line lock. Okay. Getting there. Moving right along. Alright, so jumping around a little bit. So I started making that plate. That's going to go there and be raised up. The shifter's going to get mounted to that. And I got to make a couple holes in that to put some... I'm going to put the window switches in there and the dome light switch in there. So the reverse lights are up on that accessory. Okay, so you're not backing up unless the key's on, obviously. And I'm moving on to the front here. We're going to put some connectors here for the fan. And another connector for that fan. This way, if they got to come off, you just unplug them. Okay, that already has one. Came with one. So I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to do both of these right now. And then the headlights. So right now, we're working on the front of the car. So I got the wires all run. That's the wire for the headlights. So headlights, marker lights, we're going to wire all that stuff in. So that's what we're doing next here in the front. Alright, so we're wiring the front. Got the bumper back on. We got a plug for the transmission cooler, a plug for the radiator fan. Putting the bumper in place. Ran all the wires for his headlights and marker lights and fog lights. So if you got to take the bumper off, all you got to do is unplug the fog lights. And there's no other connector. And then these, the headlights stay in there, so all these wires are going to get connected to their proper spot. Alright, we're going to finish wiring that up real quick, and then we'll show you what it looks like the way he wanted it wired.
Okay, so got everything wired. Alright, turn it on. That's your radiator fan. And the tranny cooler, yes. Yep. That's the water pump. Yeah, that's the water pump. Then that's parking lights. And then headlights. Alright, we gotta get a bulb for that one. We already know that, but yeah, and the parking lights on, yes.
Now just test that with the test light. Make sure that that bulb is good, though. I just want to make sure that little connector, and then we'll button all this up. Just make sure this got power. Yeah. Okay. Good.
All right.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
when we get a bulb,
All right,
that's
so
it.
that's that.
Okay.
That's finished.
All right.
That's the end of wiring headlights and stuff. So we still got to wire
You can shut
all
those
those
off.
gauges. They just showed up. You just could see that.
Okay.
So we got gauges going to be done next. The gauges, because then we can wire all the stuff to the engine. The gauges, the steering wheel, the trans brake, all that kind of stuff is going to be next. Alright, so for now, that's it. Stay tuned to the next part of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the like button for us. Leave some comments. Alright, we're going to be giving away a t-shirt I got to do that on another video because it'll be just one video just for that real quick. All right, so get ready for a free t-shirt, somebody.
2,000 subscribers. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, here we go.